Charlotte, North Carolina?
No, Charlotte, the wrestler, bro.
Let's be
How
very
do
specific, right?
how do we start a wrestling podcast referencing Charlotte and you don't reference Charlotte?
Listen, we talk about a lot of stupid shit on our wrestling podcast, so
That's true.
it is what
We gotta check it out.
That's like a wrestling podcast.
Alrighty, we're already recording. Let me start it off. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy D from DNC Digital, back with another episode of DNC Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is the Royal Rumble. Now, everybody knows I'm a huge wrestling fan, and Royal Rumble is one of my it is my favorite match of the year. It's a lot of unpredictability. You're not sure depending on the year who's gonna win. So I obviously want to talk about it in long form, and I brought a couple buddies along with me to talk about it. And first and foremost, I want to introduce my brother from another mother, Mr. Brian Davis. What's going on, sir?
Yeah. How you doing, bro?
How you doing, huh?
How you doing?
I'm working over here. Yeah. Oh,
I'm working
I'm
over here.
funny to you, like a clown or something. And
no, I'm great, man. I'm great. Thank you.
Awesome. And along some new guests to the DNC digital family. I have Christopher Hayes, Mario TBD, Draven, and Ricky Asada, the gentlemen from the Highspot Hangover Podcast. What's up, everybody?
What's going on, D? How you feeling?
Everything good. I'm liking the shades.
Oh, you know, it is what it is.
One thing I never understood is shades indoors.
I got cataracts. Let's go with that.
Somebody's showing their age already. He goes, let's legalize it because I have cataracts. All right, so we're here to talk about the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble is tonight, just in a few hours, and definitely exciting thing to talk about. There were some definite picks, I would say so, within the last few months, but a lot of that stuff has changed. A lot of different storylines, a lot of different characters have been presented. So I'm gonna start with you, Brian. Brian, so let's slow it down. Let's take it back. What are your feelings on the Royal Rumble match in general? Is this an exciting time for you?
Oh yeah, of course. Like yourself, this is my favorite I guess pay-per-view of the year. Even more so than the Mania. You know, it's a ritual every year. Me and my buddies, we get together and we meet up somewhere and gamble on all of the shit. Every match that we can possibly think of. Any side bets or prop bets, we just make it a whole spectacle. Actually, I went to Royal Rumble last year in Houston and had a fucking blast, man. So it's my favorite time of the year, man.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into that story. So for two stories, I want to hear two stories. One was Bianca Belair's performance last year in the Royal Rumble. She may not have won, but she definitely left a mark on it. And everybody was talking about her afterwards. What was it like inside the building?
The pop that she got was insane. Like, and honestly, that was the last time I was in a like an arena, you know, before the shit hit the fan. And then like that's like a lasting, you know, memory that I have is that pop that she got when her music hit. And, you know, she came out. So, you know, and then, you know, what she did inside the ring is, you know, everybody saw it. It was phenomenal. And it was like even 10 times better watching it live. So, yeah.
One of the coolest parts about going to a wrestling show, especially a big WWE wrestling show, is you have no shortage of commentary. You're sitting around a bunch of drunks. You're sitting around a bunch of crazy wrestling fans. So what was it like between all... Ever. Yeah, I know. I love it. What was it like between all of you guys when you're realizing that Bianca Belair is going to put up a memorable performance?
You know, we were hoping so. Me especially because I drew her in my Royal Rumble pick, so I was hoping she would kick some ass. But you know, you knew that when she went out there, she would perform to the best of her ability. And she actually superseded that. She actually went beyond that. So watching that was really dope, and knowing that you know you were actually there live to see her do that. It was something else, man.
And the second story I want to hear about, I know we talked about it, you know, when we talk on the phone, but If you can just re-elaborate what the building was like when Edge came out and returned to the WWE.
I was surrounded by a bunch of Edge fans. I'm not so much a big Edge fan, but I get it. I see the allure. And to be honest, that pop was insane too. And mind you, the leaks were out, so we already kind of knew he was coming anyway.
Right.
And then to still get that pop, it was ridiculous. Like it was deafening, actually.
You know what? Hold on. One last big pop. Drew McIntyre eliminating Brock Lesnar. What was that like in there?
Didn't see it coming. To me, that was the exclamation point to what for me was one of the best rumbles I had seen in a while. But I was happy for him. I think it was I think it was great. I think that out of everyone that was in that rumble, I think I was satisfied with the end result and Drew holding it down. And as you can see, he took that and ran. He hasn't let go yet.
No, yeah, he's definitely been doing good. One question I want to ask you guys, Draven, do you have a favorite rumble, or do you a favorite rumble moment, or a favorite rumble in its entirety?
Yeah, so while it's kind of hard to top last year's rumble with Edge coming back, I think my favorite rumble probably has to be the one in San Antonio where the last two were Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. So where Shawn Michaels swore that that no living man would be able to eliminate him from that rumble, and the one that did was the dead man, was the Undertaker. And I thought that was just so memorable, and being there was just even better.
And then Devastation was at the Houston Rumble too.
Yeah, so I actually was at the Houston Rumble and Edge coming out. That's the hottest pop I had ever heard at a wrestling show, and it was just resounding throughout the whole arena. And I think it was probably louder than when Drew eliminated Brock, and it's hard to forget moments like that in wrestling. It's crazy.
Oh no, yeah, it's Royal Rumble definitely has like a bunch of moments that, and you know what, a bunch of fantasy face-offs too. Those are some of my favorite things. Ricky Asada, can you think about any one face-off between two wrestlers that may have never met in the ring that you just felt the whole building get up, or you felt yourself like, holy shit, this is about to go down?
So, I think it's kind of it's probably a cop out to say. I think Brock's reaction to Keith Lee coming out was nuts and like completely unexpected. The energy that he had, like seeing him like, oh, big boy, like that was dope, because I think like Keith Lee, when he came out, it changed the perspective of how people like, okay, Brock has already eliminated like how many people to this point? Like,
right.
who's gonna be the next guy to eliminate him?
That place went ape shit, by the way.
What's that?
So that place went ape shit, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, I can imagine. But like, yeah, when Keith Lee came out, like we popped for sure. Like like it was nuts. So I think that one is probably like my favorite one. Just because I mean that reaction was like, you could tell it was like a good reaction, like a pure reaction. Man, I feel like, let me see. There's been some face-offs in the women's Royal Rumble that I really like. For the life of me, I can't think of it. I was just watching the 2010 or the 2021 on the way over here.
Well, if you remember the 2018 one, they did a callback to Mickie James and Trish Stratus.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool face-off, and those women in that era, where I like to call it kind of like the revolution before the revolution, they were the ones that pretty much, I would say that they were the ones that the ones we cheer for now we're cheering for. Yeah. Because with all due respect to a lot of the other wrestlers, that was like the model era where you hired a pretty girl and taught her how to wrestle. But when you had Jazz and Victoria and Mickie James and Trish learning from all of them, Ivory too. So you mentioned last year's Royal Rumble, and there were a lot of underlying stories that all led to Brock. So Brock was eliminating everybody left and right, and so the story of Rey Mysterio came up, Kofi's story, Keith Lee, a new big guy in the ring. Mr. Hayes, as you're drinking your magic potion, what did you think of the way Brock was presented last year? Do you feel like it was something boring, or do you feel like this was gonna build up to something that whoever eliminates him is a star, is a made man?
So I'll be 100% honest. My thought process with Brock Lesnar and his performance at Rumble at the time when we were watching it, I was disappointed. I was disappointed in the sense of like, okay, it's just another pay-per-view to where we're making Brock just look strong for no apparent reason. And then what transpired with Drew McIntyre eliminating him and kind of that stare down like at him, kind of showing him like, all right, cool. At the time, I was just excited just to see that. Now, fast forwarding to today, when what we see transpire with Drew and everyone else in their storylines with Rumble, I'm erring on the side of like hope that this is the Brock Lesnar in his career where he's going to take the approach to where, okay, I'm not going to be doing this forever. It's not always going to be about me, which I doubt that's what he's thinking, but I hope that's what he's thinking, to where now he's taking the opportunity to push people that are worth his time. Like, we're not getting the Brock Lesnar Goldberg approach to things to whether you show up, you make your $250,000 a show, you pop, you say your line, and then you leave. I hope it's Brock Lesnar doing something for the business. That's how.
Yeah, there are reports that Brock is ready to give back to the business, and if you strip everything away in real time, I was kind of like, well, this is some bullshit.
Yeah.
But it turns out that he suggested that only to make Drew look that much better when he does eliminate him. Was that and Mario, I'll get to you in a second, but Brian, I'm going to refer back to you since you were there. Was that a consensus with your group in the Rumble in real time? Was it like, all right, this is bullshit, like this guy's just going to run through everybody?
No, I think because we were there and we were just so immersed in everything that was going on, we didn't have that kind of bird's eye view on it. It was just awesome to see, Brock do his thing. It wasn't like, oh, like here we go. It was like, all right, well, no, let's see how this works out. And I can speak for myself. I didn't view it that way. I thought it was awesome, and then it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Like, it made him look strong, and then when Drew eliminated him, it did everything that it was supposed to do. So regardless whether or not I liked it or not, it worked.
Definitely. And Mario, I'm going to come to you now. So people don't realize that after he took the Claymore and he was knocked out, he was out there for like 10 minutes selling a kick to the face. In an era where there are 37 super kicks and 18 Canadian destroyers, and the guy still gets up to hit him with a Falcon Arrow or some shit. I may or may not have my feelings on that, but Brock sold a kick to the face for about 10 minutes. He stayed down there for about 2 entrances long, for the length of 2 entrances, and Drew kept eliminating whoever he was eliminating and just went back to him. Now he got up and he was still staggering. He was still looking like my drunk uncle on a good night. But do you think that Brock is an underappreciated performer as far as storytelling?
Oh, absolutely. I think it was last year when he won the Money in the Bank. He showed a lot of personality doing the
with the boombox.
Yeah, I love that. That was great. Just before the Royal Rumble, he had a great spot with R-Truth, showing a lot of personality. They just don't give him that many chances to showcase that.
I feel like Brock Lesnar's for the culture. Like, just the way that he reacts to certain people. He loved Eddie Guerrero. He reacted well to Keith Lee. He loves working with R-Truth. I think if Brock Lesnar was not married to Sable, he would be with a sister. Like no ifs, ands, or buts. I will always say that I think Brock Lesnar's for the culture.
Well, how do you even follow that? So a lot of times when you talk about the greatest Royal Rumble of all time, it's always going to be a huge debate. but I will go back to two. I will go back to, and I may be showing my age, but I'm going to go back to 1992 when Ric Flair became the World Wrestling Federation champion with a tear in his eye. It was like the first one where there were just so many stories in there, and then there were, I mean, Heenan on commentary was just amazing, and then you go to, I would say 2001, and then maybe the modern one, I would say is 2018. That I really like that one for many reasons. But Mr. Asada, do you have a favorite Rumble as you're pouring your own potion over there?
Yeah, that's why I was like.
He's like, oh shit! All right.
Before
Hold on, Klaus.
I just want to let you know, whenever we get you into studio here with us at HSH, you know exactly why we do what we do, because we put the spread out. I'm telling you.
Got a cheese plate and shit.
We
Man,
had like a whole platter of McNuggets for our last guest. It was fantastic.
That's what he wanted.
Yes.
It was funny because whenever I visit home, I make it a point to visit Brian. We've been close for a long time, and I remember telling him on my way out there, I was like, "Hey, man, like I don't really drink anymore." And Brian looked at me. He goes, "Bro, you know I love you like a brother, and I appreciate whatever you're doing and whatever decision you make. But you're getting fucked up when you're getting over here, all right?"
I don't really drink any less either.
Man, my 21st birthday, I made a mistake by telling everybody, and I made a mistake by going to a bar that everybody knows me.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Hey, he's finally 21. I can finally legally serve him." So everybody was just buying me drinks, and then I just one of my 4 memories that night was like me staggering through the bar, like, and then Brian just getting there, looking at me like, "What are you drinking?" I was like, "Oh, I'm that's it. I'm done, bro." He's like, he goes, "Take your fucking skirt off and tell me what you're drinking." I'm like, "Oh shit, all right, I'll have this and this," and then I woke up.
You look down, you're like, "I didn't know I was wearing my skirt. I'm sorry."
I'm sorry.
There's a picture of me, I think, on like 24th birthday, where somebody bought me a picture of an entire mixed drink, which I don't remember what it was.
Mm.
And then they put no, this was at Dixie's.
Oh.
So they put 4 tequila shots in front of me, and I took a picture with it, and they were like, "Okay, cool, now take them all." And then like there's a like the picture of me is just like, like disappointed, like, nah. I still did it though. So,
I know, bitch.
So I think what your question was, what was my favorite Royal Rumble? So
Yes.
I have to say classically is 92 Royal Rumble. I do 100% say that I think the 2018 Women's Royal Rumble, the first Royal Rumble for them, was fantastic. I love the concept of it, that they finally got to do it. Trish Stratus coming in at 30, Asuka winning, like it was just ridiculous. Like it was so good. I think the stars aligned on it, and it was just a fantastic Royal Rumble.
You know what? And their performance was good too, because it was their first time with that format of a match. I mean, they've done little Diva Battle Royals, but that's just like kicking and screaming until somebody gets out. But when you look at the first Royal Rumbles, there are a lot of illogical things in those Royal Rumbles. I don't know how many times one guy has choked the other in a corner. And I can see so many times where somebody almost has somebody over the top rope, and then somebody comes and hits the guy trying to eliminate the person, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, let's get all these guys out.
Lack of like ring awareness for some reason. Like they're gonna get eliminated. Yeah. Why are you like messing with
See, I just think in the early stages, in the infancy of the Royal Rumble match, I just think they were just like, all right, guys, go out there and bullshit, and like you throw out this guy, you go out throw out that guy. It's pretty much just fucking
WWF.
Just give Hacksaw the shine, and we're good, man.
I love those classic big man moments to where like the Big Show will come in and everyone's looking around and they're just like, okay, we're gonna attempt to lift this fucker over the thing. And
yes,
after Royal Rumble's like on the ropes and Big Show just throws people off, like those little spots.
I'm thinking back of when they eliminated Viscera and they eliminated Rikishi. I think it was at 2001 in New York. So the 2001, now that we're talking about it, was the first Royal Rumble, I want to say, with a surprise entrant in Bob Backlund,
Yeah.
former presidential candidate Bob
And then
Backlund.
he goes in like,
Wait,
he
what?
what?
Yeah, he ran for president, and when I was a kid, he didn't get far, but and
Yeah.
I think he was he a congressman or a senator? I think he definitely did serve office. But when we're talking about surprise entrants, I will go out on a limb and I will say that the biggest surprise entrant for me, probably modern wise, was either Nash or Booker T, because those were kept so close to the vest and they were definite surprises. Brian, do you have a favorite surprise entrant? You were there for a Royal Rumble with a surprise entrant. So is it different when you're there, or do you have any other memory of a surprise entrant back then?
I think, well, yeah, being there and seeing Edge as the surprise entrance, that was dope. But I guess my favorite would have been, I guess this has got to be. Now that I'm thinking about it, that Nash one was pretty dope. But when Cena returned,
Oh
to me, I
shit,
guess.
yeah. How did I forget that one? That was we were sitting there watching this pay-per-view, me and you. We were watching Royal Rumble at Hooters, the very
Yeah,
family oriented, wholesome establishment.
It's a
Serves
family
that serves terrible wings. But yeah, I remember the whole place went nuts because
nuts.
that was the first moment we saw Super Cena, because the guy tore his pec, ready to be out in like 7-8 months. But yeah, that was a hell of a surprise entrance. Excuse me. So Draven, I go to you, sir. Um Now that we're in this era now, and we've had a couple of women's Royal Rumbles, I want to give them a lot of time because they deserve it. Um do you have a favorite coming into this Royal Rumble? You know what? Let me read off the because it's a small list of
Yeah.
female superstars that they've confirmed. We have Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Charlotte Flair, which is Brian's favorite ever, Bailey, Bianca Belair, Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, Peyton Royce, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Tamina Snuka, and Natalia. Those are usually those are the usual suspects when you look at a women's Royal Rumble. But is it one of them, or do you have a surprise pick for this year's women's Royal Rumble?
It is one of them because I believe that I said it on our last I said it on the episode that we just recorded that my pick is Shayna Baszler. I think that she's always dominant, and I think the only downside to her winning the Rumble is that she's gonna have a program with Nia Jax. But other than that, I think that she would be a phenomenal pick for that Rumble. I think she's gonna come out strong. Her and Asuka would be just an all-out badass match. So she was my pick too, but I did actually have a surprise entrant that I think could happen.
Okay.
I think Tessa Blanchard can actually show up at the Rumble, and I think out of things that I've read that I think she's kind of kept quiet. She actually who was it? I think it was Asada who talked about how she changed her profile pic from what it was to her Mae Young Classic pick or whatever as like a hint or something.
with like the
Slick move, very slick
it was
move.
It was like 2 months ago, and she barely posts, so like it's probably gonna happen.
And I've read a lot of shit about her in talks with WWE or not and everything. I think she could be a surprise one, but yeah, to answer your question, Shayna Baszler I think is my favorite in this one.
That's classic sneak shit though too.
That is, but that could be working the crowd. Mario, what about you? Who's your pick in the women's Royal Rumble?
I don't even remember who I said last time, but I've been going back and forth all week. I'm gonna go for Bianca Belair.
Okay.
I'm gonna second that.
Yeah, third.
Yep.
Are you the only one? Are you the only one who's doing Shayna Baszler, man?
Yeah, I'm on an island over here.
She should have won last year's, if you ask me, man.
Yeah, I think she would have been great last year. I think this year what makes the most sense is Shayna Baszler, in my opinion. But
I don't think. I mean, so we did this on the podcast. I just think the program with her right now with Nia Jax is enough to put her in a position to request a championship.
It's not strong enough because they went like different directions with it.
Yeah. Now, if we somewhere down the line Like if she comes out and goes ultimate heel and kind of insert herself into a WrestleMania match, I see that. But win the Rumble to request a match, I don't see it. I personally see Bianca Belair coming out super strong. I'm talking like her face to face with Charlotte, and then Charlotte going, Charlotte taking the bump for Belair.
Yeah,
like that's what I'm seeing.
That'd be wild.
And Brian, are you also picking Bianca Belair?
Yeah, I'm a betting man, so I guess my money would be on Bianca. But let me just say, my favorite who's going to be in the Women's Rumble that has absolutely zero shot at winning. Anytime I get to see Mandy Rose, anytime I get to see Mandy Rose just like breathing, I'm all for it. So I'm looking forward to seeing Mandy Rose there.
I'm trying to figure out how to get that calendar in my house without my ladies.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, that's it's not going to be an easy task.
It's not an easy sell.
It's because I'm studying anatomy, baby.
I'm just such a fan, I'm just such a fan.
Goddamn.
Well, I'm gonna put my vote in. I'm gonna put my official vote in for Bianca Belair to win the Royal Rumble tonight. There's a reason they did the whole chronicle on her, and that may be misleading also because they did a chronicle on. Damn it! They did a chronicle on Shinsuke, and they did shit with him, and then they did a chronicle on Jey Uso, but everybody knew he wasn't gonna win the match. It was just a hell of a story. I want to say they did a chronicle on somebody else leading up to a big match, but then nothing ever. Lana too. They did a chronicle on Lana, right?
When did they do the chronicle on Shinsuke? Because he won in 2018.
I want to say they did it when he was in line, like for the SummerSlam title shot against Jinder Mahal. Now we move on to what about that's gonna be a fun one. We got Tessa Blanchard from Draven. Gentlemen, any surprise entrants you see besides the usual suspects? I'm assuming Kelly, Tori Wilson, Trish, Lita, Michelle McCool to run her Diesel spot. Brian, you got a surprise entrant you want to see?
I think it's a small shot, but I mean to see Becky come back would be awesome. I don't think she's coming back, but if there was a way to, to get that in there last minute, that would be awesome. Or who else? I think for me that would be my all time. Like that would be great for me.
Knowing Vince McMahon, and I definitely don't. I would say that Becky Lynch could be coming back after he's going to be like, oh, you had the baby. Congratulations. Get in shape. WrestleMania season. He's like I don't know if you guys ever seen Knocked Up when they congratulate her on the baby. They're like, after the baby comes out, just tighten it up. Tighten it up. No HR problems there.
Fucking Vince was in the waiting room with fucking Seth. He was like, so listen, when she's done, just get it back. Just make that shit good again.
And he's putting all the pressure on Seth Rollins.
Right? He's like, tell her, well, time to get back to work.
That was a good Vince impression too. That was good. Mr. Asada, who is your surprise entrant for the Women's Royal Rumble?
So I actually said it on this week's podcast. I honestly think if it could be anybody, so I'm hoping it's Kairi Sane. I don't know how open the borders are right now, but I think what kind of confirmed it with me, and maybe I'm just kind of reaching. John Moxley was on New Japan this last week.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure because she's still technically employed at WWE and they got all them fancy private jets, I'm pretty sure that they could get Kairi Sane over for the Women's Royal Rumbles. It could happen.
Yeah,
Who's in charge of the women? It's Finley, right? Finley usually trains all the ladies, and he goes up to Vince like, hey, can we send a plane out for Kairi Sane? Who? Oh, she was the one who won, won the Mae Young Classic.
All right. I think if not her, I would say Shotzi Blackheart. I see nothing but good things in her future.
Oh, Shotzi's great. I think she would just be a regular entrant though.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're gonna dip into their back pockets as far as NXT goes and just bring in a few. Go ahead.
So the reason I think it's a surprise, not because I mean they haven't alluded to anything, but if she comes out in number 2 and like has the little tank, like like that's gonna.
Oh, for entrance purposes.
Yeah. I think like for some reason we have like a regular entrant number 1, and then like number 2, she comes out with a full tank, like it's a full entrance and everything. I think it'd be awesome. Like
in the past couple of years, it's been like that. Like the number 2, number 3, all the way up to number 5 is like somebody who's hiding at NXT.
Yeah.
So
Good point.
Bianca Belair came out number 2 last year, and then Candice LeRae. I mean, she hadn't gotten her full roster thing yet. But then
And Mr. Hayes, who was your surprise entrant this year?
I don't know if you would consider it a surprise. It's more sort of a hopeful. I hope to see Naomi back.
Oh yeah, man.
I really want to see Naomi back in the action. I don't 100% know why she was out. I do know that it was some type of injury, but it's been a whole year.
Yeah, she's gonna make a second surprise entrance.
It can't have been a whole year. She's been doing.
It's been at least since when COVID started.
But she's been. I want to say she was on SmackDown during the PC era, right?
She was only on a few shows, so she didn't do a lot. And I think that was when they were trying to downplay, like, oh, COVID's like going away, and then like second resurgence, like never mind. So
it's so crazy how every era, like Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression, Reality, and now we're calling it the PC era because this shit is just nuts. What about you, Mario? Do you have anybody different, or are you agreeing with somebody in the group?
Asada mentioned this to me last week, I think. Taya Valkyrie doesn't have a contract at Impact anymore. Morrison's on WWE, so why not get her in there?
Yeah, and
that's
actually,
true.
When Morrison started, I think maybe a month in, their house caught on fire. Yep. So like they had to work extra hard for that, and I mean, I feel like just them having like a stupid amount of money, it would just make sense, like for the whole family.
One person that's going to be missing came out today. Mia Yim. Is it Reckoning? Is that her name in Retribution? She is positive for COVID-19. So everybody here, on behalf of everybody, we wish her the best and a speedy recovery. She is a hell of a performer. Maybe hindered in a character that has, not a long length of life or not a long shelf life, but that remains to be seen. I'm not a writer, so let's just hope that everything goes good and she continues on with a great career. Moving on to the men's Royal Rumble. Like I said, there were a bunch of favorites. There are a bunch of people that everybody thought like this guy's gonna win, and maybe to swerve us or just because organically some stories changed. There are different front runners, and one that I really want to get into that was a front runner and now is missing. So we have Bobby Lashley, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Otis, The Miz, Jey Uso, Cesaro, Jeff Hardy, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Shinsuke Nakamura, Big E, John Morrison, Sheamus, Mustafa Ali, Edge, King Corbin, Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, and now Braun Strowman. One gentleman that is missing from that list, and it is a robbery of a performance. It is a robbery of a gentleman's moment in his career and possibly a big match, is Keith Lee. So Keith Lee has been missing the past 2 weeks on Raw. I don't know why. I just do not know why.
It was COVID, no?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's COVID.
Yeah, because him and Mia Yim are together. They live together.
Aren't they like married or?
Yeah, it's COVID. That's why. Yeah, it's COVID.
Oh, then my mistake. But well, then it looks like he won't be attending the Royal Rumble. I knew he was with Mia Yim, but the fact that I guess maybe he got it first, was it reported?
So it was confirmed today because Mia had posted it. I don't know how. I guess in a wayward sense, Keith Lee had also, or it was also confirmed with him.
Yeah, it was only confirmed today.
Yeah, I literally found out right before we started doing it.
I mean, like I said, it makes sense. They live together. If she's contracted it, then obviously, even if he doesn't have it, he would still have to quarantine with her.
Yeah.
So
Fair point. So like I said, there were a lot of different favorites in this one. In the beginning, everybody thought The Rock was going to come back and win to go on to face Roman Reigns for the head of the table spot along with the title. People thought Jesus, that story wrote itself. And it doesn't need a Royal Rumble win, but that's besides the point. I digress. They're pushing Daniel Bryan. They had a little altercation between Daniel Bryan and Paul Heyman on Talk and Smack. There is something to be said about Cesaro. Even though it's been reported that he's not going to be the one, Shinsuke grabbing it again would be dope. Gentlemen, I start with Brian. What are your thoughts on the Rumble match? And do you have a favorite? And do you have a realistic favorite? You're a betting man.
I am. If I was gonna put money on it, I guess it'd be Daniel Bryan. But I also think that, and I might be jumping ahead here. If one of your next questions is going to be like, who do I see as being like a dark horse or whatever? I think Edge has a really good shot at winning. But I also am hoping that Seth comes back and does some damage, because the way he went out on that fucking, what was that gimmick that he had? That fucking
The Messiah.
The Messiah, dude, he needs to fix that. So I want Seth to come back and fix that.
He was supposed to come back a few weeks ago on SmackDown. It was pushed back, and so Daniel Bryan is a safe pick.
Yeah, he's my safe pick.
Yeah, I would say that he's going to be the one to win it, and if we're gonna just jump in and we're gonna do my vote, I would say that it's gonna be Daniel Bryan. Man, I mean, I would like to see Cesaro win it just because the guy is so damn talented, but things like that don't matter in the company sometimes.
You sound like me.
Yeah, I do. Except when we talk about Charlotte Flair. Because look at the look on his face.
Oh no, we're good. It's coming. So I'm gonna say my name. It's coming. Don't worry, it's coming.
You got it, boy. You're in that stance like you're ready to
my composure. This is me keeping my composure. It's me keeping my shit together right now.
We'll go back to that. We didn't even talk about it. We'll go back to that. But Daniel Bryan is a clear favorite because Vince, and for all reasons that I agree for, he wants to hold off on The Rock and Roman Reigns because there's just not even potential. That's just money. That is just stupid money, and he wants a full stadium for that. Guys, I go to you, Mr. Hayes. Who is your favorite? Who is the one you want to win, and then the one you think is just gonna win?
The one that I want to win is definitely Big E. Like I want another Kofi moment. Like that's what I'm looking for. That's who I hope to win. Now I'm 100% sure it's not going to happen. I'm also thinking that we're leaning towards Daniel Bryan to kind of coast on it as well. But I feel like that would be a waste. And the reason being is because he's looking to retire. And everyone knows in this business, when you give your last match, quote unquote, because obviously fucking Undertaker has made it known you can come back 1,000 times. You go out on your back. So why win the Royal Rumble to go to WrestleMania just to lose? You know, that's how you want to retire.
You know, sometimes you want to give the Royal Rumble to the young guy and build him up, but sometimes you would just say, like, damn, isn't it some bullshit that fucking Jericho never won the Rumble? You know, isn't it, you know, you want to kind of say, let that be a badge of honor before he goes home to his wife and kids.
I think Daniel has done enough for the wrestling industry as a whole.
Fair point.
Not just WWE itself. I think Daniel Bryan is a pivotal member of the wrestling industry from what we consider the indies all the way up to the big leagues. I think if Daniel Bryan just kind of floated behind and became a trainer or a producer backstage, it's still respectable. You know what I mean? So I think that's the direction they're going to go. I think it's a wasted opportunity. Like you said, why not give it to Cesaro? You know what I mean? This guy, everyone has the same story with Cesaro. This man showed up at the airport. He walked his ass from the airport to the PC just because he loved this business so much. If he wanted to get into action, like that's the type of person that I would put money on. So,
Ricky, to excuse me, to Christopher's point, to have Big E as a favorite, you want to see another Kofi Mania. Do you think it would be wrong to replicate that kind of story, or do you feel like if Big E gets to that it will be another Kofi Mania, or do you think they'll write it out a different way?
So I don't think it's going to be another Kofi Mania in the sense that it's not going to be the same storyline. With Big E, he also got swept under the rug too. But everyone's been telling him on Talking Smack, on Twitter, pretty much any time that you can get a hold of Big E, they've been telling him, you need to change your demeanor, you need to change your demeanor, you need to change who you are so you can be a champion. And he's the Intercontinental Champion right now. Like, people forget that he had the Intercontinental Championship in 2005?
Yep.
Maybe
Yeah, he did.
And then he had the NXT Championship prior to that. So
Mr. 5 Count.
The man is he's money. It's just that he jumped in on a gimmick that they didn't know was going to work because he was swept under the rug after his IC title. Mm-hmm. And he's been overlooked. Not as long as Kofi has, and I think with Kofi that storyline really shined a light on hey, I think we're not looking in the deeper or the bigger picture of this this title these title reigns and these this title picture. So we're gonna start diversifying how we're gonna do it, literally. So
X-rated there.
I'm gonna need another drink.
So I need another drink.
I think it's its own. Honestly, I think it's its own storyline. It would be cool somehow or another if Big E was a double champ. I think that would kind of push a good storyline. Can I see him getting into a program with Roman Reigns? They've had almost minimal interaction up until this point. Mm-hmm. I honestly think it'll probably sway another direction. It'll probably go towards somebody from Raw, because Keith Lee's probably not in it. I couldn't believe that would be. I mean, I think anybody who's going to be set up with Roman is probably that's going to be that's your main event or one of the 4 main events because there's 2 days now. So I don't know, man. I think with Big E, it's probably going to be its own thing. I see that storyline going in a completely different direction with Kofi Mania or from Kofi Mania, but it could work out. I mean, I could see it happening.
Definitely. Big E and Daniel Bryan are 2 definite front runners. How about you, Mario? Who do you have winning? Who's your bet?
Realistically, I do see Bryan doing it.
Mm-hmm.
All the way. Who I'd like to see, if not Big E, then Shinsuke. I mean, he won in 2018. Then he had an okay match with AJ, and then kind of lost it afterwards. He's been coasting by, but he's back to being the king of strong style. He's got his old music back. Just give it to him. Why not?
And Draven, do you agree?
I think I'm going to have to kind of disagree on that one. I don't think Shinsuke's in a place right now where he would be someone to win it twice. I don't think he's at that level because there's very few people that have won the Rumble twice. And so I think I just think that Daniel Bryan is a safe pick. I'm going to fall in line on that one. I think Daniel Bryan is just the safe one to go with right now. But someone that I would want just to mimic a couple of the other guys is Cesaro. I think he's someone who is just long overdue for that push, just to kind of, go off of what everyone else has already said. But if I want to throw something out there that we talked about on our podcast, a surprise entrant. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here, but I want to put money on the fact that Jay White is going to show up at the Royal Rumble.
Jay White.
That I am dying to see Jay White in a WWE ring, and I think that shit would be so money if he was to show up, and even more so if he was to win the Rumble. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I would love to fucking see it.
Jay White, Seth Rollins. There are a bunch of surprise entrants, a few from our past that I'm sure we're going to see. And we will definitely see it tonight. What's that?
Remember when when Seth Rollins called Jay White broke?
Yes.
Years ago?
Farms remembers.
Man, Seth Rollins needs to work in HR. That guy's great. But we will see tonight at the 2021 Royal Rumble. Men's and women's Royal Rumble picks are in, and we will see if we are right. Before we leave, Brian, though, if you have anything to say about Charlotte, the floor is yours.
I'm going to spare everybody my because once I start, I don't stop. So let's just say that I really hope to God that that Asuka and Charlotte lose this match, because I'm over it. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm over it.
I'm gonna go off here with that. I'm gonna jump in with Brian on this one. Spent all the money on all that reconstructive surgery, and we couldn't put a little bit in the butt. Like we just couldn't put it.
Don't even my chat. I have a wrestling chat that I'm in, and let's just say that that's been talked about. It's funny.
Definitely. Guys, I want to thank everybody for joining in. I want to thank everybody for listening. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Gentlemen, tell us where we can find you on social media.
Well, hey, you can find us on Instagram at Highspot Hangover Podcast. And if you want to listen to our podcast, which you should follow us on all major platforms, Apple Music, iTunes, Google Plus. And if you're an OG, triple OG, and you rocking with us on Podbean, we definitely do appreciate it. And we got some things that we got on the forefront. The major thing that we want to let y'all know, our first official piece of merch is out.
Yep.
Nice.
If you want to see what that is, hit us up on Instagram. Our Twitter's there as well. That's it.
Awesome. And Mr. Brian Davis doesn't like any hate mail for his Charlotte rants, so I will not put his social media up. You can find me at DNC Digital on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Everybody have a great night. Enjoy the Royal Rumble tonight, and take care of yourselves.